And we are live, folks. Sunspot 2747 is now gone. We have 0 sunspots. Lowering solar activity. We got a meteor hitting Jupiter. And more. Going to show you some more views of the sun real quick. Here's 193 angstroms. And we're going to look at the colored magnetogram also, as well as 304 angstroms. Here's a colored magnetogram. There is an active region right here on the equator, very close to the equator. Something to keep an eye on there. Otherwise, again, 0 sunspots. And finally, here's 304 angstroms. And this is about the last 8 hours of solar activity, folks. And let's move on. Here's a real-time solar wind. We see a phi angle approaching 180 degrees. Solar wind density down to 4.28 protons per cubic centimeter. And solar wind speed is also ramping down, now at 520 kilometers a second. There's the ACE data. We're going to ignore cosmic rays today. If you want to hear a lot about cosmic rays, tune into yesterday's video. We got a request yesterday to play the Enlil spiral, so here's one of them. And we'll let that play through, as this is one of the forecasting devices. And let's move on. There's quite a bit of stuff to cover yet, and let's keep it moving. Here's the locations of planets and so on. There's where they'll be in 1 week, right around full moon. We'll skip the LASCO C2 and C3. We're going to re-show you the coronal mass ejection that we covered yesterday. It's right up in this area. Right there it is. Let's see if I can swing that back and get this freaking blue colored thing off my screen. There we go. There's that coronal mass ejection. Again, not Earth facing. It appears to be missing the Earth to the southwest. So anyway, there's that coronal mass ejection. Again, we did cover it yesterday, and that's the way we do it on this channel. We do stuff practically in real time. Next, we'll look at magnetosphere movies. First, the density. And you see some varying solar wind densities coming in there from the left of your screen. And we always let this 4 hours of data play. This is an archiving section of the video. If you were wondering, nobody else is doing it. Here's the pressure. Beginning of the video, we see the primary pressure on the magnetotail side, and then a weakening pressure by the end of the video. Still with the primary pressure mainly being on the magnetotail side. One little odd striation right here. right around 8 o'clock UT. And let's move on to ground magnetic perturbations. We are going to talk about magnetic pole reversal and how it takes much longer than previously thought. I'm sure some channels will flip out about that and be very mad. I can't wait to see the fireworks happen today when I watch certain YouTube channels, as they're probably going to melt down and go insane over it. Anyway, here's the geospace ground magnetic perturbations on the planet with 2 north poles and a creeping south pole, by the way. If you weren't aware, the south pole's creeping into the Indian Ocean. Let's refresh that to show you what's going on above my head. Check out in-the-sky.org to create your own star chart. And yeah, hit refresh. You can even animate this if you're interested in seeing when things will rise and so on, as Deneb just circles around and around the North Pole. Is it going to set? And Deneb does not set until about 10:30, 10:45 a.m. Where were you when Deneb set? Talk about the Smasho mission real quick. We have started smashomash.org. The mission is to assist, study, and report on an ongoing formation of a unified theory of physics. Welcome to the Neo-Renaissance, folks. Physics, and indeed astrophysics, is getting rewritten before your very eyes. Also to raise the awareness of the general public of the relationship between space weather and Earth effects. Also to connect and consult with media organizations to multiply our reach. As you can probably tell, all of these things are intertwined. Also to demonstrate cutting-edge proof-of-concept solutions to problems, to publish scientific papers in a multidisciplinary manner, to assist mankind by advancing the study of predictive phenomenon in order to optimize value and reduce risk and liability and save lives and resources and adapt no matter what the adversity is, and to not be ossified in our beliefs and to treat those who are with love, respect, and inclusion to the scientific discussion. That's the way science works, folks. So if you want to support the channel, please do so via Patreon. That's our main source of income on this channel, as YouTube does not pay us to make these videos despite showing you advertisements. So join the tier. There is only one tier currently on Patreon. It's $1. Open up your dusty wallet. Get early updates as a result of being on Patreon. Again, the tier is only $1. Or if you don't like Patreon, there's also a PayPal link in the description below the video, as well as the link to our Hemp Lucid Spaced Out campaign. So click that also if you're in the market for CBD products. Buy them through our link and help to support the channel that way. We greatly appreciate it, as some of our viewers are out there helping to keep our channel in existence. Let's go back to space data. Here's the KP index, which is at 2, and thanks for tuning in, everybody who has. And thanks for leaving comments. If you're not viewing live, please leave a comment anyway, as I'm told it helps our analytics. KP at 2, holding steady there for a while, last 9 hours. XRay Flux is still remaining flatline. We haven't had a B flare since July 7th. Electron Flux at pretty high levels here. And some of these are solar-generated electrons, apparently. We're going to skip the total electron content forecast, as it's not that exciting. And I apologize for our title being screwed up again, as there's some kind of a conflict between the software we're using and Google's software. No surprise there. Google, having bought YouTube 1 year after it going into existence, has been attempting to ruin the platform ever since. Here are the aurora forecasts. I think I'm going to start including this as a new segment. Let that play through. as I like it. It gives me one moment to relax before we start blasting through more data as quickly as possible. Here's the ionosphere map. We'll play the animation. This is the last 6 hours. And here's the latest image. F2 layer very discharged. Well, not particularly discharged. Pretty normal here. Nothing too special. Nothing to write home about there. Don't bunch up your panties over. GOES magnetometer remaining spiky here, although it looks like it's going to now smooth out. Again, that sunspot has evaporated, and it's messing with the fields. Let's show you the line of sight ecliptic plane field plot here on the Gong 2 data. That blue line is the average, the B field essentially. And you can see it's being pulled around by that activity there. And we'll show you the line of sight, the top view in a moment. So there's that. And let's go back to the top view that we typically show on the channel. And there you can see that green portion, which is the North Pole associated portion, charged portion of the current sheet. It's being pulled around by some field activity there. So there could be another sunspot forming. We would not be surprised to see that active region near the equator turn into a sunspot soon. Again, something to keep an eye on throughout the day. And when we say eye on, the pun is intentional. Follow us on other social media if you like, such as Facebook, facebook.com/smashamash. We're all over social media, folks. Also on Instagram, where we had to troll Bernie yesterday. We are super excited about the Joe Rogan podcast featuring Senator Sanders. Bernie Sanders, a guy who doesn't even know how to pet a dog and wants to control the economy via government programs. Hey, Bernie, would you try not poking Joe's dog in the head next time? You get to do a photo op with the most popular podcaster on earth. Thanks. #MummifyBernie. Brilliant. I can't wait to hear the podcast. I'm super excited. I will so be listening to the whole thing, as I will have material. I will have Bernie material to go on and on for hours. It's just amazing. Anyway, we're also on Twitter. Share our videos there if you like. I don't tweet, but I do gab. Gab.com/smashamash is also a thing. There's yesterday's thumbnail. And we apologize for the issue with the titles and thumbnails on our videos. We have yet to figure out what's causing it. As we search through a Malthusian maze of crappy software, menu after menu after menu containing redundant information and making no sense, thanks to Google. If you're wondering why YouTube's so screwed up, that's Google. Also on Minds. Follow us on minds.com/smashamash. The social media that will not censor you. Help us get to 500,000 views. We've only got 700 subscribers here. So join up, minds.com. And if you enjoy the content, please subscribe on YouTube, the main host of our content currently, although not for long. Earthquake Rundown. Largest quake was in Taiwan. Shout out David Devine if you felt that one. We were talking yesterday about how tropical cyclones have a tendency to happen at the same time as earthquakes. And we saw that happen in Taiwan. So just as forecasted, Taiwan got hit with a 5.9. Let's go down the rest of the list here. Going back about, let's see, that's about 20 hours ago, there was a 4.5 in Japan. After that, there was a 5.0, Southeast Pacific rise, west of Chile. Here's a 4.5 at the Philippines, and there's that 5.9 at Taiwan. Let's take a look at the location of that. Hopefully everything doing okay down there, Mr. Dubine. I think you probably did feel that one. Please leave a comment, David Dubine. Cheers. Next on the list is a 5.8 at depth at Afghanistan. Bad news for that area. That's a 222-kilometer deep quake there. Heads up Afghanistan for a larger quake at the surface. That 5.8 probably already caused damage, as many buildings are not earthquake ready in Afghanistan. How about a 4.9 in the Fiji Islands? That one at extreme depth, 531 kilometers. A 4.9 at Peru, as well as another deep quake at Afghanistan. Here's a pressure map, courtesy windy.com. Let's let that play through. Again, you see those low pressure systems right on Taiwan, right where that earthquake happened. No surprise to you, real earthquake forecasters out there. I have some exceedingly dry air over Greenland, as well as a persistent anticyclone over the southwestern U.S. All right, let's continue on here, as there's still quite a bit of stuff to cover. Volcano Rundown. Mount Aso, 6,000-foot ash plume there as it explodes. Sanjiang Api also exploding, 8,000-foot ash plume there. Anomalous Howard, if you're able to fix our thumbnails, I don't know how you would fix the thumbnails, but hey, if you can fix the thumbnails, congratulations. You'll have better luck than us. Google, one of the worst software manufacturers in the history of mankind, probably the worst, also the largest time-wasting company on the planet, having their Android operating system installed and barely functional on billions, that's billions with a B, of smartphones around the world. Mount Dacono, producing a 6,000-foot ash plume. New emissions from Popocatépetl. Sangay, producing a 22,000-foot ash plume. Revenador has dispersed the volcanic ash, and Sabancaya still exploding, producing a 27,000-foot ash plume. Please don't do the Fosbury flop over Sabancaya. Here's the jet streams. Again, we see that system right on Taiwan, as well as one out in the Pacific there too. Now, this is not a very well-organized system, as when you look at the upper level stuff, you don't see a clockwise rotation there. You see a whole lot of nothing. So that's probably going to fizzle out. And here ends my Far East weather forecasting, as that is not my forte at all. Going back to the jet stream level, flight level 25,000. Major convective forces. Looks like very hot air being injected into western South America there, pulling air right out of the equator. Convective forces running the show in the north, although it's starting to form back into a jet stream, folks. How do you like them apples? We see SAS Box activity going on in Texas here, as well as in California. Please leave a comment, maybe shoot an Instagram video if you see a portal open and a bunch of dudes that look like Chewbacca walk through it. Or if you have common psychic links with Sasquatch or any other bipedal, giant, ape-like humanoid figures. Here's a water vapor map. Again, we have a persistent anticyclone over around the Four Corners region there. You see that clockwise rotation, as well as some strong storms kicking off again in places like Kansas, Nebraska, Missouri. And we'll zoom in on that convergence real quick. For all of you weather porn addicts. There's that convergence zone. And it's going to be hanging around because this dry air out here is not moving particularly fast. It's more massive, and it's going to kind of hold this system in place as that anticyclone continues to rotate over and over again clockwise. We've moved on to the that's an ass and that's a hole in the ground section. Let's talk about currency and money. Now, currency are these things called Federal Reserve notes that you have. You call them cash. Some people call it money. You shouldn't call it money, since Fiat currency is not money. Money is something generally accepted as a medium of exchange, a measure of value, or a means of payment. Officially coined or stamped metal currency, money of account. Now again, people refer to the fiat money that most countries in the world use as money, but it's actually currency due to these sort of definitions. If you're not aware, I don't know what to tell you, but a meteor exploded on Jupiter, and one photographer caught it on video. Check it out. Looks like a big one. And that waviness is caused by the Earth's atmosphere, if you were wondering, folks. And it's not going to play. Let's just refresh that. Anyway, this article is on sciencealert.com. Play that video. That video via his Twitter account. Looks like he made a GIF out of it, and for that, we thank you. And if you're wondering, when I say for that, we thank you, it is an homage to Tosh.0, a guy who is hilarious. Anyway, there's that event on Jupiter. Should be all over the news today. All your space nerds should be talking about it. Check out this phys.org article. This should have some YouTube channels freaking out and running for cover. Earth's last magnetic field reversal took far longer than once thought. How long? 22,000 years. We'll leave links to this article also regarding magnetic reversals. Now, the way we study this is by using volcanic rocks. Typically, we also use ocean sediment, which is not quite as accurate or as high of a resolution. Again, we'll leave links to this article once the video is complete. Now, I know a lot about PTSD, as I've been injured countless times. I prefer to call it PTS, since post-traumatic stress is normal and is not a disorder. It's just that some people deal with it differently and take longer to recover from it than others. And that is why PTSD is not a thing. It's just PTS. It's not a disorder. It happens in animals when they're exposed to predators. They remain freaked out for a while. And this article talks all about it. Anyway, PTSD is a super big problem nowadays. It is contributing to suicides. People don't understand it correctly, and they're doing things like creating a permanent solution to a temporary problem. Be like this chickadee, and if you're feeling odd after you get injured or in some sort of a traumatic situation, like if you get robbed, your brain is trying to recover from that, folks. It's perfectly natural. Don't go the drug route. Were you aware that Google is a scam and not a verb? Please stop using it as a search engine, and we implore you to please stop using it as a verb. Were you aware Google doesn't even want you to use Google as a verb? Anyway, if you'd like biased search results, use Google as a verb. And by the way, Google has been interfering with elections since at least 2016 and has been shadow banning search results since at least 2011, as admitted by the creepiest man in the world, Eric Schmidt. Instead, use DuckDuckGo, the search engine that won't store your personal information, won't follow you around with ads, and it won't even track you when you're not in private browsing mode. How do you like them apples? DuckDuckGo.com, a real search engine, unlike Google, a search engine made by and for hacks. Brave is on a mission to fix the web. Get rid of that Chrome browser. Install the Brave browser. Chrome browser is junk. Thanks again for tuning into the Smasho stream, folks. Check it out. We got bonus segments once again. Fluoride may diminish kidney and liver function in adolescence. Now, not every country in the world puts fluoride in their drinking water. It's one of the dumbest things that places like the UK and the US do. One of the dumbest things that is done. So stupid. The government claims that it's for dental health, which is a ridiculous idea. And the fluoride essentially makes your water poisonous. What's the solution? The solution is a reverse osmosis under sink system for most people. Here's an okay one. It's $154 from Home Depot. Reverse osmosis systems will remove fluoride. Get one if you don't already have one. Things like filter pitchers and stuff do not remove fluoride. You need a reverse osmosis system. That's the way to do it. And improve your life by drinking fluoride-free water. It also removes all kinds of other stuff. That's the solution for the fluoride, folks. Believe it or not. Reverse osmosis. That's the way you do it. And let's look at a 193 angstroms view before we teleport out of here like Gandalf. There are still some coronal holes there. It looks like there is a magnetic connection possibly going on. We have some kind of an obscuring event happening here at the end of the video. Let's stop on that frame. There it is. There's the obscuring event. I guess I'll make that into my thumbnail. How do you like that? Anyway, thanks again for tuning in, folks. Please like and subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Thanks to our new subscribers and our patrons. We are going to run a credit crawl pretty soon. Just have to sit down and make the animation for it and then make it editable so we can put new names and truncate names who stopped donating. So cheers, folks. Have a great day. Remember, when you're staring at the sun, don't drink it. If you drink, stare at the sun anyway. Just don't drive. And since it'll never be now again, may that solar wind be at your back and that atherosclerosis absent from your veins.